at the beginning of this, let's go back to February or March. If someone told you that you would have a vaccine in 10 months, would you have believed it? And as a result, do you think we've taken any shortcuts, or do you think everything has happened the way it should happen?
Great. Two very good interrelated questions. So let's talk about safety of mRNA platforms, and then let's talk about whether we've had shortcuts. So I have to tell you, I'm not that worried about an mRNA vaccine. It is a new technology. There are a lot of new technologies that we use all the time, new technologies for drug delivery, new technologies for vaccines. And again, I think we're going to want to watch the safety data coming out of Moderna and Pfizer very closely. But at least as of now, probably 70,000 people have gotten vaccinated between these two vaccines. That's a lot of people. And we will be able to see if there are any significant effects. But to me, the mRNA vaccine is just a delivery platform, and I'm not largely concerned that it's going to end up having any kind of negative effect. And I guess my best way of saying it is, would I be comfortable getting one of those two vaccines? And the answer right now, based on the data, and I'll look at the full set of data when they come out, but based on everything I've seen so far, the answer is absolutely yes. Which then gets to the second question of how did we pull off vaccine development in just 10 months? And did we do shortcuts? And the short answer is there were no shortcuts. Typically with vaccine development, there is a sequential process. You do animal studies, then you go on to small human trials. It takes a while to recruit them. Then you raise money for the next phase. You do very careful planning to say, should we move forward with this or not? And all of it is to really minimize financial losses and to make sure that you're kind of prioritizing things correctly. In this pandemic, we have done things in parallel. So what that has meant is when we started human trials and we did animal trials at the same time, both of them were done, but usually you would do one before the other, and we took the risk of doing both. And so all of the steps that would go into a normal vaccine trial have been done. They've been done much more quickly. We've been willing to suffer financial losses. We've been willing to say we will make a bet on a phase 2 and a phase 3, and we will start producing the vaccine even if we don't know if it's going to work or not. Those are exactly the right things you want to do in a crisis like this. So I think that's part of it. And then the one last thing I will say, and this is really important for the future, part of the reason we got a vaccine in 10 months is we had spent years developing vaccines for the original SARS virus, for SARS-CoV-1. And so we had quite a head start in terms of understanding the spike protein, understanding what we would target. So it wasn't like we had no idea what this virus was. It was very closely related to its cousin, and that gave us a head start. The reason why this is important is we should not assume that if there is another global pandemic with another virus, we should not assume that we're going to have such a head start. So we actually, as this pandemic begins to come to a close, need to start planning for pandemics where we won't have that head start, and then think about how do we build a system that can generate a vaccine quickly.